First of all, I have never been near a puff party. Never been near.
Guys, I didn't even know. Listen, guys, I didn't even know that this meeting had taken place and that, Oprah and T.D. Jakes had came out and they said this and kind of were trying to distance themselves from the Diddy stuff. And so you guys know I made a video the other day and I was talking about the connections between Tyler Perry and Diddy, Tyler Perry and T.D. Jakes and Oprah. And, for the last 2 years or so, I've been talking about the Christian Illuminati and how God is going to expose this demonic network where there is a lot of compromise and the focus is more on, building money or building, their own personal kingdoms, building their castle instead of the kingdom. And so a lot of that has to do with money, right? Building my brand and connecting with this one and connecting with that one. And, some of these connections, you have to compromise, right? And this is something that I believe it's been disgusting to God because there's so much filth and so much sin that is going on. And so I showed you guys how T.D. Jakes and Diddy, they had partnered, I believe, for Revolt TV, and they were, showing T.D. Jakes' sermons. And then I know that Tyler Perry had something with Jakes, and that Tyler Perry was trying to even talk about buying BET with Diddy. And then, of course, they all have the connections to Oprah. And so, people were mocking when I kept talking about this Christian Illuminati. Everybody knows the real Illuminati is evil, but I was talking about like this network in Christianity where it's like everybody's more CEO minded and they're trying to build their brands, build their businesses. And we even talked about how, most of the preachers who have went up in influence in America, they had to get blessed off by T.D. Jakes, or they came across T.D. Jakes, or I think Stephen Furtick, we've seen him, Mike Todd, all of these people at some point sit down, with Jakes, get his blessing. And then we talked about Lecrae, same thing on the Christian rap side. And interestingly enough, both of them have ties to Diddy. So something is going on here. Take a look at this clip. Let me know what you think.
First of all, I have never been near a puff party. Never been near. And anybody who knows me knows if there is a party, I'm the first one out.
Right.
I'm the first one out.
But people love salacious
Yes.
stories.
Yeah.
They love salacious stories. You can tell them stories about you feeding those girls in South Africa.
They don't want to hear about that. Right.
They don't want to hear about that at all. If you tell them about Puffy's biceps, they want to follow you all the way around the world. And I think it's because we have become so engrossed in other people's lives to keep from having our own. We are drunk off of things that don't matter to distract us from the things that do matter.
This evening, yes.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
I know.
And if you watch the timing of it, the intoxicant always comes out while something big is happening that we need to be paying attention to. And we pay it no attention because we are engrossed in counting up something that is salacious and not true. And not true.
You're not true.
And I stopped by Puffy's house for 30 minutes to say happy birthday to him during the day at 2 o'clock with staff people. And out of that came a love affair and all kinds of stuff that I have never seen.
You too?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. We were sharing the same, let's get Jerry Springer on here. You can't fight it.
You can't fight it.
You can't sue it down. You can't tear it down because of a small law that is included in the way that our laws are written right now. And our people don't know that. And not only do they not know it, they help spread it.
Absolutely.
They help spread it. They help spread it. Now, I'm almost 70 years old. What do I look like? And I am a grandfather. What do I look like at this late date? But that's the kind of world that we're living in.
You can say whatever you want to say, but I clearly see that, what God was showing me, what God was telling me, there's something there. He's exposing this, and I believe God is just cleaning up house, and I'm not here to speak on these people's, everybody's salvation. I'm very careful with that kind of stuff, but I do feel like we've gotten so comfortable and so complacent in America, and so much about connections, that we've become compromised in a lot of areas. And God is exposing this because he's getting ready to do something new. And just because we've been doing something for a long time doesn't mean it's right. We see that with Israel. There were, hundreds of years sometimes where they would be in their dysfunction or their mess, and then God would come and correct it. And I think the same thing is happening in America, right? We've seen it with all the warnings, and then COVID shook up the church, and then all the exposure that has just come back to back. God is doing something, and I believe that when it's all said and done, there's going to be some new voices that rise up, and it's not, their heart isn't about, hey, how can I build my brand? They're not going to be just quick to just connect with anybody just because they have a lot of followers, just because they have a lot of likes. I think we're going to get back to the place of endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit. Most people are connecting and having unity based off of doctrines, man-made words, man theology, and the Bible says to endeavor to keep the unity of the Spirit. And I think with all of these things getting exposed, people are really just sick of what's going on in the church, and it's going to come to a place where this hungry generation is going to rise up, and they're just going to look at the fruit, and they're going to test the Spirit. They say, look, I don't want religion. I just want something that's genuine. I want something that's real. I want something that's not compromised. I want to be around people, that are really about that life, that are not going to bend over or bow down to the world. I really believe that's coming. Go to www.marcusrogersministries.org if you want to support what we're doing here in Chicago. We are building. We are trying to get it, and we are trying to do it right. We ain't perfect, but we trying to do it right. Love y'all.